Hey Outlaws! So we covered Shad Diversity's video last time, and now we are going to be covering Metatron's video because he's going over it and he's kind of confirming some of the things that Shad was talking about, some of the issues that he was dealing with, but most importantly, how Metatron, has dealt with what he sees as the rising problem of YouTube and YouTube just choking off. Now, honestly, again, like I covered last time, there are some legacy members of that are YouTube and the store community that just they're getting choked off. I think YouTube is trying to kill them off to make room for newer people. I can tell you right now, as a YouTuber, I in the past have noticed like my shorts would always go up to a certain amount and then just stop, like they were capped. So YouTube does cap views because think about it, there's only so many people on the system and there's only so much content that they can consume, so that YouTube wants to make sure the content it wants to succeed. Remember, it chooses who succeeds and who fails, so it chooses where it goes. So if there's something about your channel, your content, whatever it is that YouTube just doesn't like or doesn't think is optimal, you get shoved outside. Or if YouTube has, what I think also is definitely going on, is that YouTube has a certain group of people that knows will never go into the trending ever. They'll always stay just right here. So within this smaller group, it will only give so much, and it'll just be completely blocked forever. And the rest will be completely blocked, like never seen by these people that go in the trending. So with that in mind, what Metatron has done, he talks about, we'll explore a little bit, is that he publishes on 4 separate channels daily. Like every single day he's publishing something. I have started doing that this year just because my channel has just taken a nosedive, unfortunately. And I'm seeing good results. But anyways, let's go right here. I wanted to just play this clip just so it could be saved. And I want to go over it with you guys.
Views that you have no interest in, and I've been flooded with that, of content that just I'm not interested in watching or viewing.
Yes. Even I occasionally get videos from small channels that I have no idea who they are. I don't know why it's on there. I was like, now what most people do is they go to, well, people that are you have to think about it, okay? It's kind of like programming. You have to you have to go to parts of YouTube and click what you want to see. If you just want to see your subscriptions, you got to go into the subscriptions feed. Otherwise, yeah, YouTube's just not going to show it. Or YouTube will only show you close to what you've watched, unless YouTube doesn't like that channel. There's some channels that YouTube just, like, you'll watch them over and over again, they'll never recommend another video.
Yeah.
So clearly YouTube is recommending different content to different viewers.
And that is so strange because the way it used to be is that a video would be pushed onto new audiences if it performed well with your pre-selected pool from your own subscribers. And perform well usually generally meant engagement, so you got comments and all of that, but also average watch time. Average watch time on my videos in the last 3 months has gone up exponentially. I've gone up because I've worked on it. I was like, oh, I need to do the average watch time right. I need to increase it. And it went up to like 14 minutes, 18 minutes, sometimes really, really high average watch time. Still the video doesn't get recommended.
Yeah. That's the problem that I face as well. Okay, so I'll pull this up for you guys to take a look. So this is, let's see if I can, there we go. So this is all of our videos in the past 28 days and the average view duration. Now, keep in mind, if you have a low, like in the past, if you had a low average view duration, that was bad. That's also why shorts became so short. It was because people's attention spans were bad, but also just because people that had like shorts that just either, explain a lot of information or just didn't immediately grab you and shake you and keep you along for the ride, just didn't do well. For us, our channel, we found out that most shorts between 8 seconds to 11 seconds performed the best. But even now, it doesn't really matter, which, again, I prefer to do longer ones. Like you can see, my most famous one here, that's caused so much controversy. It's 29 seconds long. I wouldn't dare to do shorts that are that long anymore because this wouldn't do well. But you can see the average view duration is 116.4%. So its views, like, don't get me wrong, some people would kill to have 36,308 views on a short. But we'll get back on that in a second. So this one, the number 2 performing one, I didn't even think was going to do well. But it had a 14-second and a 101% view duration. So keep that in mind, 101%, almost 21,000 views. Now, if you go down to the next one, where I think, let's drop it one more time. Okay, now you go to the giant sword training. That was January 24th. That's like, it's just 6 days ago, right? 12 seconds, not as long, but 111% view duration. Which one went viral? The one with a smaller amount of view duration. So it's like, it doesn't make any sense. Then you go down here, January 12th, another one. It's 14 seconds, so just as long as number 2, but it has 184% view. This thing should be going nuts. I mean, literally people are watching it over and over and over and over again because they want to see what's going on. They want to see what the sword being, or like moving the little cursor around and just watching over again, see certain parts. So a lot of engagement, but it's not getting any viral views at all. Not even a little bit. Here's one I also just recently published. It has 131%. It's a 10-second, just like one of those quick ones. And it only has 1,179 views. Barely going viral, but it has 131.5% watch rates. I mean, people are watching over and over again. So a lot of this stuff, even if you have the analytics that's saying, hey, this is how things are, or like having analytics that tell you that in the past means that your video would have performed well, that's no longer the case. It's really just YouTube picking and choosing, and this must be because they have to be running it out. It has to be 100% AI controlled at this point. AI controlled will be like, yeah, people are watching over and over again, but we know this audience will click more on this one than on this video here, even though it should go viral. It should. So not this channel, but before this one, I've run several channels. If you guys aren't aware of that, yeah, I have run several channels. None of them have ever got as popular as Digitally Twisted Outlaws. They may never. I want to expand out now. I'm going to do like what Metatron does and just run other channels and just post things there on the regular because I like filming. I like doing media. That's what I really wanted to do. And I think, honestly, the reality is, and I think what Shad Versus come to realize, I don't think Metatron's there yet because he has 4 channels that are constantly going. I'm sure he has a job on the side too. Is that you can't really make a living on YouTube unless you are backed up by a production company that makes you popular and that opens the door for you in YouTube. And that's the reality for a lot of people that are new to YouTube, is if you don't have a production company or connections to a production company or connections within YouTube, or you're not sponsored, or you're like whatever, you are going to go through a long, brutal grind and you may never make it. I can tell you right now, I have never made, all the money I've made off YouTube doesn't even pay for the helmet I wear. It doesn't. And that's just the helmet. That doesn't even talk about the rest of the armor suit. I mean, the sword, like I got the sword back when I wanted to start training giant swords, 2017. But that, even then, that was way cheaper than it is now, or was now. Okay, let's keep going.
Why? It's like the people are enjoying it, they're clicking it, and they are watching it for an extended period of time. In theory, that should help push the video into new audiences, because if the regular viewers enjoyed it, there is a high likelihood that they would enjoy it too. But yeah,
and that's the thing. So I brought up one of my older channels earlier, is that channel, before we had to switch to this one, because I screwed up. I tested out some ideas, because originally Outlaws, I wanted it to be like a 90s action flick. That's what I wanted to be like, but it didn't work out. Anyways, so we put some spicy stuff on it. Let's put it that way. I would post a short. I remember specifically one of our shorts. I posted it, and I remember I was so excited that day. It shot up to like 100,000 views in just a couple, like an hour. 100,000 views. It blew my mind. I've never, to this day, have had any of my shorts go that viral. And that's a wonderful thing. Like, that's pure euphoria when you have something, a short that you just published, and it just shoots up. and I was always so bummed. And it wasn't even that crazy of it. It was the one where I was lifting it up, and Jenny at the time, she put a little dancing night guy, and I swung down and I chopped a freaking stump in half, and that just went boosh. Now you've got me in suits of freaking armor, running around, stabbing, thrusting, chopping, and it's like, yeah. So, and that again tells me that YouTube has put me in a niche. Same thing with all these sword content creators, in a niche that we probably are never going to break out of. And the reason why is because they keep the big rewards, the big hogs, for all of their legacy media, their Hollywood contacts, their current content creator, their pre-approved or approved of or demographically approved content creators, and the rest of us. We're just going to keep getting shoved off to the side till either we disappear or YouTube disappears, which could happen.
System appears to have changed.
Deprioritizing recommendations on our content and others.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah, I remember recommendations would make or break your channel. And recently, the recommendations just aren't there. Now, there are impressions. Impressions are still doing pretty good. Without the recommendations or on the recommendation feed, you don't always get it. So anyways, I don't want to go off too much of a rant. I want this one to be shorter. Is Metatron's tactic of publishing daily working? Let's take a look. So here's his primary channel. We'll click on here. You can see that, yeah, more or less he's right. He publishes daily. Sometimes, looks like more than twice. This is his main channel. Metatron's Academy, that's the one where he teaches languages. You can see that he more or less, pretty close, publishes daily. Okay. And then here is his video game channel. He said there was a fourth one, but I forgot to click the link, and whatever, it's fine. 3 is good enough. So this was actually kind of cool. He actually he pulls out old video game systems like the Super Nintendo, and then he found the Nintendo Entertainment System with like little gun. Hey, I played Duck Hunter. I was always trying to shoot the dog. Never worked. Anyways, so let's see if it actually works. Here we are. We'll go back to Social Blade. Okay. So, on his main channel, that's what I was saying earlier, Outlaws, on the last video. Go check out the last video if you don't believe me. There's something weird going on both Shad's and Skolagrim's channel. They have those giant dips and peaks of minus 10,000 subscribers. But when you look at Metatron's, not so much. There's no sudden dunking. So, I don't know what's going on with that. But anyways, so let's take a look. So, I think he said he recently did it within the year. So, let's start with this one here. March 1.2, 1,800,000, 600,000, 1.2, 800, 1 million. So, it doesn't really peak over a million that often. Now, let's go over here. 2023, it started being 3.1. Lowest 2 million. So 2023, once you start publishing more often, it really started to kick off. Let's see at 2024. So 2024 goes back down a little bit, but it does not go back down to the low levels of 2022. Okay, 1.3. It does get pretty close right here at 1.3 million views, but even then, that's still the lowest is July 1.2. And then it peaks up. And it peaks way up right here. And I think this is when he started really aggressively publishing regularly. Okay, so right here, it looks like it's working. Same thing with subscribers. Subscribers going down and also it peaked up. So that's working. Now let's see about his Metatron Academy. Okay, so obviously not much was going on. Then all of a sudden, November 13th, 2024, okay, so that must have been when we started doing it in earnest. Boom, it shot way up, but it pilfered back down. Again, right here, November 2024, shot up, but then pilfered way down. However, when we look more closely, This only goes... This looks like it's going up. So publishing daily is so far working. Let's look at the last one, his video game channel. Okay, same thing. Around November is when he started aggressively publishing. Now, keep in mind, not everyone's going to be able to publish things daily. Like, I can barely do it. And I take footage like from a Buhurt practice or a Buhurt event, and I just chop it, and I make little stories out of it. Some stories are cool, awesome, action-packed. Some stories like, hey, check out my executioner sword. Some stories are kind of goofy, like the armor failure one, which, look, we don't practice dangerously. I mean, accidents do happen, injuries happen, but we're not like playing around with crappy armor. Just some things have times accidents happen. But anyways, but you see it all went skyrocketing up. Now, let's look at mine. You look here. Oops. Different story. Now, here's January. I was publishing some, but not daily. Then I started publishing daily. It goes up. I did a couple two-a-days. Shot way up. That was the armor failure one, and also the Berserk video, I believe. So I went back down. Okay. Shot back up a little bit. Went back down. But look at that. It never went back to these low numbers right here. So although this isn't definitive, this is a lot better. Now, keep in mind too, like we discussed earlier with Metatron, and Shadiversity also talked about it, was we're used to getting channels with like hundreds of thousands of views. I was there. You can see right here, your channel usually gets 148,000 to 258,000 views in 28 days. Those are good views. So we're getting close to getting back to that, but we still have a little while to go. Now, the revenue, interesting enough, though, is actually higher than previous 28 days. And I think the reason why that is because I have more long-form videos than I do shorts. Shorts don't make as much. They get way more views, but they don't make as much money. And again, I just blacked it out, but it's like $20. Like, it's not even worth mentioning. Okay. It's barely anything. Okay. So I think that kind of concludes it, that yes, you can actually get. So what he's saying is correct. Publishing daily does help. But you have to work for it. And honestly, I don't know if every single channel could do something like that. And the problem too is, remember, you still have to produce quality content. It's not like you're not just wanting to crap out like boring shorts, dumb videos, things that are just worthless, have no useful information, or not providing something. Because you do that, you're going to kill your channel because you're providing crap that nobody wants to watch. So it takes a long time. I think Metatron gets away with it because he's already put in a lot of work before starting YouTube, where he was a professor. You know, he went, like I say, he went to Japan, he studied a lot, he knows different languages. So he has all this knowledge at his disposal, which allows him to get away with publishing daily and doing like reactionary content. For other people, not so much. Okay, Outlaws, that's enough for me today. We'll see you next time.